welcome to my channel. In this video, I will show you how to make a very beautiful net bag that I prepared with spaghetti and cotton macrame rope. It is an incredibly easy production. I think you can easily finish such a bag in a day or even in a few hours. I want to show you our bag closely. Look, it consists of cages. It's a very nice example. It's not a small bag. I tried it close to the size of a beach bag. You can also use it as a daily bag. It has a nice big base. It's a pretty deep bag. In the video, I shared with you the detailed measurements of our bag while knitting it step by step. If you want, you can put a bag inside it, or sew a lining. It can also be used with a primer. It looks amazing when worn. As I said, it is an incredibly easy production. So, I'm sure even those who are starting to knit for the first time can do this very easily. Look, if you want a very deep and useful bag, you can use it as a daily bag or as a beach bag. It is completely up to your taste. I worked with cotton macrame rope. If you want, you can work with box ropes, paper ropes, or shelf ropes. Before moving on to our detailed recipe, I would like to ask you for a free subscription to our channel. I would be really happy if you liked the video and leave your comments. Let's move on to our recipe. I used spaghetti oil cotton macrame yarn for knitting. I would like to share one of its features with you. It is a mixture of 70% cotton and 30% polyester. It weighs 250 grams. It is 250 meters long and 2 millimeters thick. See other information here. You see. By the way, I would like to share a nice discount news from Spaghettia for my subscribers. You can complete your shopping with a 10% discount with the Gulkan10 code, which you can use for purchases of 100 TL or more from spaghettia.com. I would like to thank the Spaghetti family for this nice discount. I bought the yarn here. I want to show you the texture closely. I will use a very comfortable yarn, and my crochet number will be 3 millimeters. You can determine your own crochet number according to the thinness and thickness of your yarn, the tightness and looseness of your knitting. We start with a chain. After locking our first chain, we prepare our starting chains so that they are a little looser than the setting we knitted. Here you can draw as many chains as you want, depending on the size of the bottom of your bag. Now I'm preparing my chain by eyeballing it. I pulled my chain a little bit. If anyone is wondering about the number of chains, I have drawn approximately 50 chains here. If we have a leftover chain here, we can remove it by cutting or disassembling it. The important thing here is the size we want. Now we fill the beginning of our crochet. We will turn the reverse part of the chain, not the straight part. We will work on our knitting using these dashed lines just opposite the chain at the back. We wrap it around the head of our hook and leave the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chain at the beginning and make a loop by sinking into the broken line of the 8th chain. We have 3 stitches and completed them. We circled the 2 together again. By knitting the 2 together, we obtained our first box with a double handrail. Now we draw 2 chains. We create our box here by wrapping it around the head of our crochet hook, skipping 1 or 2 chains at the bottom and sinking into the 3rd chain by knitting a double handrail. Look, we will create boxes like this. We fill a couple of chains. We create our boxes by leaving 1 or 2 spaces and sinking into the 3rd one until we reach the size we want. I've reached the end of my turn. I pull my last 2 chains and leave 1 or 2 chains at the bottom and sink to the last chain. Look, exactly 50 chains gave me 15 boxes. Now I have 15 boxes. Now I want to measure the part here. If you want it to be as long as your hand, you can increase the number of boxes here as much as you want. My measurement was 24 centimeters. By the way, even if we use the same yarn and the same crochet number, the measurements I gave may vary. The reason for this will change due to our knitting tightness and looseness. Now we will continue the next row, 1, 2, we pull 3, 4, 5 chains and reverse our knitting. By wrapping the head of our crochet hook, we sink to the top of the next handrail, which comes after 2 chains. We remove the stitch and knit a double handrail. 2 chains again. We work box after box by wrapping the head of our crochet hook and sinking another handrail onto the top of the handrail that comes after 2 chains. Look, after that the process is very easy. We fill 2 chains. we will come to tabs on and work on box after box. Now let's continue until the end of the row. Let us share the transformation with you once again. Look, we have come to the end of our turn. We are pulling our last 2 chains. Look, we had 7 chains that we left here by wrapping them around the head of our crochet hook. We immediately leave 1 or 2 of these and dive into the 3rd one. We complete our last box by counting 1 or 2 chains, coming from the point right after this handrail and sinking into the 3rd one, knitting our double handrail. From now on, our returns will always be the same, to the new row. We chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and turn our knitting. We work box after box by wrapping it around the head of our crochet hook and sinking into the top of the railing. We wrap 2 chains. Coming to the banister, we are knitting a double banister. We will continue working box after box in this way. When we reach the end of the row, look again. We will leave 1 or 2 chains here and sink to the 3rd one. We always start and finish like this, and now we knit our base here. Let's extend our base again until it reaches the size we want. I will share it with you when we knit a row. Look here, I knitted my base until I had 19 rows. Now I want to tell you the size at this stage. We have not completed the base yet. At the end, I will share the measurement with you again. Look, it's 27 centimeters now. The length of our base is 24 centimeters wide. Now we will finish here. After pulling our 2 chains, we knit a double handrail by counting the 1-2 chains at the beginning and sinking into the 3rd chain. Now at this point, look, we have completed the sequence. Now, by making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains and wrapping them around the head of our crochet hook, look at this single wing in the front and this single wing on the body of the handrail that we just made. I am sinking. After 5 chains, I am sinking to this point and removing the stitch. I am knitting a double handrail. I have completed the corner turning point here. Now look, we have moved on to a new row. Now we will continue by pulling a chain or 2 from this point and wrapping them around the head of the hook, creating a handrail right here. 3. I am sinking to the point where I sink into the chain. That is, I will make a box on the box. I am knitting a double handrail again. Look, the box is on the corner point. The box is on the box. I am filling in 2 chains again. I am knitting a sinkable double handrail on the top of the banister like this. Look, we looked at it as we looked here. Now we are filling in 2 chains again. 3. It became a chain. I immediately dip into the chain point where we knitted tabs on and fill in 1 and 2 chains with double handrail. Here comes the handrail. Tabs on looks like this. I dip into the front wing and the single wing on its body and knit a double handrail. At this stage, if you think I knitted it too fast, you can start the video, or, on the contrary, you can watch it by speeding it up. Look, we have created the corner point. By knitting a handrail with 5 chains, now we will knit a box like a box. When we come to this corner, I will share with you how we create the corner immediately. We have reached the extreme point here. We pull our 2 chains. We create a box on the box right here. Look, the first chain we started with sinks to the point after the lock, and we knit a double handrail. For this, we will draw 2 chains and wrap them around the head of the crochet hook and come to the same space. Look, let's knit this short rope by going around. We create the corner with a double handrail in the same space. This corner is important for the turn. Now, we will draw 2 chains again, and after that, look, we are at our starting point with chains, right here, where the handrail is without touching the 2 chains. We sink into the chain and knit a double handrail. Look at the 2 chains here. The chains look like this. We immediately sink them and knit a double handrail. Look, we continue to knit box on box like this. This is our starting point. At the end, we will complete this rope secretly. By knitting box on box, when we come to the corner, it is here again. Leave 1, 2 chains and repeat 3. We will sink into the chain, create the corner point, and after making the box, we will continue here by applying the same rotation process on this side. Look at the corner. This will be our 4th corner here. At this point, we will create the corner again, until we reach the point where we first started with these 5 chains. Now look here. We started by creating the first triangle in the corner with 5 chains. We knitted boxes on boxes. On these edges, again, look, we created a box of 2 triangular chains that we sank to the same point. We did the same process here as well. That is, there is a box triangle point in the 4 corners that we created with 1 or 2 extra chains. Now we have come to the end of our row. Look, we will make a connection at the point of 5 chains. After knitting the box on the box, there is only 1 box remaining. After pulling our 2 chains, 1 here, 2 here, 5 chains here. We finished our knitting base by sinking into the first 2 or 3 chains, removing the stitch and shifting it, knitting our box on the last box. Here, the length of our base is 30 centimeters and the width is 25 centimeters. You can enlarge or reduce it as much as you want by increasing the number of boxes, width and length, as much as you want the size. Now look, after shifting here, we will chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 while going up. From now on, we will only work on the box. We will continue our knitting in a straight manner without turning our knitting. We made 5 chains and wrapped them around the head of our crochet hook. We create our box point with the double handrail by skipping the 2 chains here and sinking to the top of the first handrail. We fill 2 chains, double handrail, sinking onto the top of the immediate handrail. Look, we are knitting a box on a box by working 2 chains on the banister. Look, our starting point is now here. When we see the 5 chains, we will have found our starting point. We will continue now. When we reach the corner point, we will knit a banister on each banister and draw 2 chains in between. Again, by creating our box points in this way, we will knit it as a whole and continue until the end of the row. Look, we completed our boxes by knitting a row. Now we are at the end of our turn. After the base, our bag started to become hollow and the wool part became visible. Now at this point, we pull our 2 chains and 5 chains greet us. We pulled our 2 chains after the last 2 chain gap and the 2 chain point. 5 chains greet us. We immediately sink into the first 2 third chains. We remove the loop and slide it from the other loop. Look, there is a box on top of a box. We are actually making an extra box in the corner so that the base can be rotated. But from now on, we will enlarge the wall part of our bag by just working on box after box. We go up again with 5 chains. We pulled our 5 chains, wrapped them around them, and created our first starting point by sinking to the top of the next railing. Look, again, 2 chains, and we continue to knit, box after box, by sinking to the point where trabzon is. After that, look, it's like this. I turn it. The wrong part is now inside. We will knit it from the flat point on the outside. Look, we will knit it in the straight direction and join it in this way, go up with 5 chains, and knit it in the same way again until we reach the end of the row. And by doing the same ending and beginning, we will raise the wall of our bag sufficiently. After this last base row, I will share with you how many rows of walls I built and the measurement in centimeters. Look, after knitting the base of our bag, we completed the wall section with 23 rows. The length of our bag is 30 centimeters. So, 23 rows gave us the size of 30 centimeters. Now we will move on to making the handle part. We finish by making 2 chains again, 1, 2, 3, at the beginning. We complete it by sinking into the chain, removing the loop and shifting it. Here we draw a chain, sink directly into the space of 2 chains, and remove the stitch. We have 2 loops, we wrap them and knit a single needle. We come into the same space and knit the second single needle. We do not touch the handrail point here. We come to the space of 2 chains and remove the stitch, and the single needle comes into the same space and knit the second stitch. We skip the single crochet railing, knit 2 single crochets into the 2 chain space, and proceed to the end of the row in this way. Then we come to the last box. We knit 2 single crochets into the 2 chain space. There was the first single needle we started with. We sink into the top of it, take out the loop, and slide it from the other stitch, pull a chain, and cross the same space. We knit 1 single crochet by coming inside. Now, we will proceed by knitting single crochet on the tops of the single crochets, until the point where we will create the handle. Look, I'm pricking the top of the needle. I'm knitting single needle again. Now at this point, we need to adjust our stem. It is absolutely necessary to place it on a flat surface so that our bag does not become crooked when we place the handle. It is absolutely necessary to make this adjustment. Let's make our quick adjustments right away. Look here. I highlighted the points where I will place the handle with safety pins. You can also adjust this by eye. How do we place it now? We continued by knitting our single needles. Look right now, I'm knitting my 2 single crochets here. At the point where I see the safety pin, I immediately start pulling my chains. Look, we start pulling our chains a little bit looser than the setting we knitted. Here I pulled 75 chains in total. Now look, I'm at the point where the hook is again. I'm starting to knit the single needles by sinking into the top of the single needle that comes after the handrail here. Look, after creating our chain handle, we continue to knit the single needles. After knitting the single needles here, we will move to the other side. Here, we knit the single needles again, so that our stems are balanced and equal to each other. After knitting single needles up to this point, we pull our 75 chains here again and make our connections as we did here, and move forward to the point where we first started. We have come to the end of our turn. Look, we knitted our last single crochet stitch. Now we inserted the needle into the top of the first stitch we started with, removed the stitch, and slid it through the other stitch. Now we go up with a single chain, dip the first single crochet into the top of the single crochet we started with, remove the stitch, and knit a single crochet. Now we will proceed by knitting a single crochet at the top of each single crochet. We knit our single needles until the chain point. We knitted a single needle at the top of the last single needle, then the chained point comes, we sink into the chain, we remove the loop, the single needle sinks into the chain, the single needle sinks into each chain once. Look, in this way, we will pass the chained point of our stem with a single needle when we come to the end of the row. SC in the last chain. Then we knit single crochets on the top of the first single crochet here. We will pass the chained point to each single crochet with a single crochet and move on to the last point here. We have come to the end of our row. We sink into the top of the last single crochet and knit a single crochet here. After lengthening it a bit, I cut my thread as long as it is and take it out of the loop. Now, at this point, look, after the single needle, we cut our rope enough. I sink into the top of the first single needle from back to front and pass this rope from front to back. Then, look at the cut line on the outer side of the last needle we knitted and the outer one at the top. I sink into the wing and pass this rope to one wing from this point. Look, when I get bored, this part looks like a spike. We have made a nice finish. Then I dip this rope from the intermediate points and make a lock with a chain. At this stage, you can use a click with a smaller number. At this stage, tie the remaining end of the rope to the intermediate points. I'm going to go down and cut it enough. After hiding it here, I'm cutting off the excess yarn. Now we'll start knitting the inside part. We haven't finished yet. Let's take the end of our yarn. We're creating a loop here with a chain. Once we've created it, we can start from the middle part right here. Let's start from the top of the single needle right there. Look at the inside part. We will knit. Let's show it like this. We will knit single needle from here and complete the single needle on the inside of the stem, and we will finish it at the point where we started. We will knit a row right away. Look at the single needle point I want. Since we started with the chain, I sink directly to the top of the single needle. I remove the stitch. I put it in between to hide it with a short thread. I knitted my single needle, then I knitted each single needle. Now I will knit one single crochet and proceed here until the point of the handle. Look, we started here. We knitted the inner part of the handle. Now we will continue to knit our single crochets towards the stem, and the last single crochet point here is a single crochet right here. Look, the first chain is the point. What space am I sinking into? Then comes the stem part. Look, we insert the tight part where each single crochet is, and knit single crochet again. That is, we have a single crochet at the point of the chain. Look, we proceed by knitting a single crochet at the point of the chain we knitted for each single crochet. To illustrate, look, we have knitted a row of single crochets on the inside as well. In this way, we will have completed our handle. Now we will finish it here. At the point where we started, we will have completed the handle with the same finishing technique as I showed at the finish. We will apply the same process on the other part. Finally, I will give my bag a steam iron from the inside. If you want, you can iron it with a hand iron. There is no need for normal ironing. Actually, but I want to iron it nicely with a steam iron on the inside, and then I will complete my bag. Look, we have completed our bag. As we have explained to you, I ironed it from the inside with a steam iron. Look, I used 2 balls in total, and we have so much yarn from the second ball. If you want, you can measure the size of this bag. You can make it bigger or smaller. It was a very practical production. I enjoyed it immensely while working. I hope you like it and try it. I wish good luck to those who will do it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.